So UFC 313 takes place this Saturday, and this is my predictions and breakdown for every single fight on the card. Let's start off with the main event. We have got Alex Pereira defending his light heavyweight title against the number 1 ranked UFC light heavyweight in Magomed Ankalaev. Now this right here, to some people, is Alex Pereira's toughest test to date in his UFC career. Magomed Ankalaev is on a crazy win streak at the minute, coming off a really impressive win over Alexander Rakic. Alex Pereira obviously is coming off a Fighter of the Year campaign last year. Should have been Ilia Topuria, but nonetheless, Pereira defended the belt 3 times, knocking out Jamal Hill, knocking out Yuri Prohaska in the rematch, and knocking out Khalil Rountree in one of the best fights of the year. But this is definitely the right fight. This is the fight that needed to be made for the light heavyweight division. I know a lot of people like to shit on Magomed Ankalaev, but the guy has done a lot of good work in this division and has really cemented himself as the next guy behind Alex Pereira. Now, a lot of people have mixed opinions for this matchup. A lot of people, in my opinion, don't really understand Magomed Ankalaev's fight style. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people seem to think that Magomed Ankalaev, for some reason, is the second coming of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, when you watch Magomed Ankalaev fight, don't get me wrong, the guy can grapple, the guy can wrestle, but Magomed Ankalaev's fight style is predominantly a southpaw boxer that is very heavy on his lead leg. This guy isn't going to go in there. Now, this would be hilarious if Magomed Ankalaev actually goes in there and does this, but I'm just going off what I've seen, and I've never seen Magomed Ankalaev do this before. Go in there and just ragdoll Alex Pereira. That's just not going to happen. When Magomed Ankalaev says stuff like he's going to stand with Alex Pereira, doesn't surprise me in the slightest, because that's the way the guy fights. The guy is predominantly a southpaw boxer. He has implemented his grappling when it's not going his way, and I think that this fight will be no different. I think we will see that from Magomed Ankalaev in this matchup when he's not having the success on the feet against Alex Pereira. I think he will start to shoot in for takedowns, and I actually do think he will take down Alex Pereira. But this is the other thing with Magomed Ankalaev's grappling style. Number one, the guy isn't going to take you down, hold you there, and beat you up on the mat. Never seen him do that before. We have never seen that. Number two, if he does take Pereira down, outside of just controlling him there, which again, we haven't seen him really do, what's he going to do? Like, you know, it's not as if he has real submission threat on the mat either. Like, that's just not Magomed Ankalaev's game. Also, with Alex Pereira, the big emphasis is on the guy's grappling, and I think he is going to show in this fight that his grappling isn't as bad as what a lot of people think it is. Yes, we've seen him be taken down before, the likes of Israel Adesanya, which isn't a good look, and he's been taken down quite a lot by Jan Blachowicz as well, and I think it was his second fight in the UFC he was also taken down. I can't remember who that was against, but the thing with Pereira is he does a very, very good job of, once he's taken down, keeping himself very safe, latching onto the wrist and working his way back up to the feet. That is one thing you can say about Pereira. Is he this submission wizard, even though he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Glover Teixeira? I personally don't think so. And the grappling advantage, in my opinion, definitely does go to Magomed Ankalaev in terms of the wrestling. He's just more proven in that department than Alex Pereira. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be very surprised with Pereira's grappling in this matchup. Also, I think it's going to be very hard for Magomed Ankalaev to get the grappling going against Pereira, because I think Alex Pereira will do something very similar to what we seen Manel Kape do last weekend, and that's be the aggressor. You know, it's very, very hard to shoot for takedowns when you're on the back foot, and Pereira is going to put Magomed Ankalaev on the back foot. Also, in terms of the striking, like I said, Alex Pereira is very heavy on his back leg. Ankalaev is very heavy on his lead leg. Now, with Pereira being heavy on his back leg, that there can lead to Pereira being open, in my opinion anyway, to the likes of blitzes. You know, when he's leaning back, if you're blitzing in over the top, he is there to be caught. Over the top shots, they work on Pereira. The only time we've ever seen him in the UFC be hurt and caught was to Israel Adesanya, who landed a shot over the top of Pereira while Pereira is very heavy, leaning back on his lead leg, and we've seen what happened. Israel Adesanya hurt him badly in the first fight and put him out with it in the second fight. But Magomed Ankalaev doesn't do that. He throws a lot of straight shots. He has got a very nice straight left. I think he might catch Pereira with it, although I just think Pereira's striking is just too good. it's just too good for Magomed Ankalaev. That's what it comes down to. The big hole in Ankalaev's game is the inability to check leg kicks, which we have seen time and time again in his matchups. We've seen it very, very evidently in the matchup against Jan Blachowicz. Now, Pereira is an orthodox fighter. Magomed Ankalaev is a southpaw fighter. And that, before this fight was ever made, kind of had me worried on how is that going to affect Pereira's leg kicks, because Pereira's leg kicks is easily his best weapon, and when Pereira starts to implement the leg kicks, that's whenever he's able to start doing his best work up top with the hooks, his straights to the body, his straight right hand. It all comes off Pereira using them leg kicks. But we have seen Alex Pereira utilise his leg kicks against the southpaw before. We've seen it in his matchup against Jiří Procházka. I remember that. Jiří in the rematch kept switching stances, and Pereira just used his lead leg just to tap at that calf kick, and we've seen the damage that was done from that. And I feel like Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev isn't one of these switch hitters that can fight in either stances. He has a southpaw. That's the stance he always fights in. And with him being very, very heavy on his lead leg, I think that's just a disastrous thing for him to have. In terms of just the way, in terms of his fight style, I think being very heavy on his lead leg, and the fact that you can't check leg kicks and you're going in there with the best leg kicker in the game, I just don't think it's going to work. I think Pereira is going to do a good job keeping Ankalaev moving back, destroying that calf kick every single time he throws it. I think he's going to really, really beat up the lead leg of Magomed Ankalaev, which I think is going to set up for the shots, and I think Pereira is going to knock out Magomed Ankalaev inside round 3. Ignore that voice break. I think Pereira is knocking him out inside round 3. That's my prediction. Moving on to the co-main event, we have got this one right here. We have got Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev 2. Obviously, this was meant to be Dan Hooker versus Justin Gaethje. It was meant to be 5 rounds, although Justin Gaethje was the one that wanted to change this to 3 rounds, which is something to keep in mind. Maybe Gaethje hasn't had the best camp. Who knows? Now, a lot of people are saying this is short notice for Rafael Fiziev, but this is also short notice for Justin Gaethje. Rafael Fiziev is a completely different style and stature to what Dan Hooker is. Rafael Fiziev is smaller, more compact. Dan Hooker is very long and rangy, and their striking styles are just completely different. Look, their first fight, Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev, was extremely close. Now, Rafael Fiziev does tend to slow down in the later rounds, and Rafael Fiziev is coming off a very bad knee injury in his last fight against Gamrot. The guy's been out of the cage now for quite some time. Why does my voice keep breaking? But Rafael Fiziev has been calling for a fight for a very long time. He has been always on social media talking about it. The guy is constantly in the gym working. Justin Gaethje is coming off his UFC 300 loss to Max Holloway, which was brutal. Not only did he get flatline KO'd in the last second, he took so much damage in that matchup. Like, Max Holloway broke his nose. It just wasn't a good look for Justin Gaethje. And I think Rafael Fiziev is really underrated. I think he is going to win this matchup. I think he is going to stop Justin Gaethje. That's my prediction. With the amount of damage Justin Gaethje has taken throughout his career and coming off this brutal flatline KO over Max Holloway and all the damage he took beforehand and the change up of opponents, I think Rafael Fiziev is going to get it done here. I think he stops Justin Gaethje TKO in the second round. Moving on to the feature fight, we've got Jalen Turner versus Bahamondes. I think this right here is a sleeper fight on the card. I honestly think this might end up being fight of the night. Jalen Turner obviously ranked inside the top 15 of the UFC's lightweight division. Bahamondes is trying to get into that ranking. Look, Bilal Muhammad shouted out Bahamondes, so we know this guy is game. We know this guy knows ball. But in all seriousness, Bahamondes is on a 2-fight win streak. Both of those wins coming by first round finish. Jalen Turner is coming off that loss at UFC 300 to Money Moicano, who, yes, he did hurt, but ended up being taken down, sustained a lot of damage in that matchup, got beaten up. I think Bahamondes is just an overall better fighter than what Jalen Turner is. Jalen Turner is very big and powerful for this division, but I think Bahamondes has really improved in his last few performances. The guy hits really hard. I think he can mix it up more. I think if he needs to take down Jalen Turner, if a takedown needs to be implemented in this fight, I have faith that Bahamondes will be able to do that, and I think he'll be able to out-grapple Jalen Turner. I actually think Bahamondes is going to finish Jalen Turner. So that would then mean the main event, co-main event, and feature fight, I am predicting finishes in all 3 of those fights. Moving on, we have got Amanda Lemos versus Lucindo. Moving on, we have got Bobby Green versus Mauricio Ruffy. Look, this one right here, I think Bobby Green is being really overlooked in this matchup. The guy's a veteran of the UFC, has beat a lot of elite guys. Maybe not a lot of elite guys, but he's been in there with a lot of elite guys. Obviously coming off his recent performance at UFC 305 to Paddy Pimblett, where he was submitted out cold. I think Mauricio Ruffy is going to stop King Green. I'm going for knockouts quite a lot in this card. I think Bobby Green's fight style... Let me fix the camera. I think Bobby Green's fight style just plays into Mauricio Ruffy's hands. I think Mauricio Ruffy is going to do what you kind of need to do against Bobby Green if you're striking with him. You have to make Bobby Green go first. When you make Bobby Green go first, that's when his opponents have a lot more success. I'm not saying Bobby Green's also chinny, but the guy was knocked down by Jim Miller, Tony Ferguson. The guy's taken a lot of damage throughout his career. Let's not forget the attempted murder of Jalen Turner versus Bobby Green. I think Mauricio Ruffy, the momentum is with him. Do I think Mauricio Ruffy's overrated? Yes, I do. And I think the next fight from this, he is going to be exposed. I think a lot of people are overrating the Fighting Nerds gym, to be honest. But I think Mauricio Ruffy has a fight style that is just going to beat Bobby Green. I think he's going to make Bobby Green go first. He's going to set up traps for Bobby Green, who, I don't want to say chinny, but he kind of is. And I think Mauricio Ruffy is going to stop him. Moving on, Curtis Blaydes versus Kuniev. Now, do you want to tell me why this fight here is on the prelims but Amanda Lemos is on the main card? Curtis Blaydes is coming off a fight for the interim heavyweight title, realistically the undisputed heavyweight title. Now, did he lose that matchup? Yes. Why the fuck is he on the prelims? What the fuck is going on here? Also, the disrespect they give him Kuniev. Now, do I think Curtis Blaydes is going to beat Kuniev? Yes, I absolutely do. Kuniev is a known drug cheat. His best performance is against Renan Ferreira, who Ngannou has just beat in that matchup. He did get a bit scrappy with it. I think he might make it a bit competitive early on with Curtis Blaydes. But Curtis Blaydes' issue is... it kind of is his fight IQ sometimes with what he does. But I don't think that's going to be an issue in here against Kuniev, because mainly, when you look at his fight against Derek Lewis and Sergey Pavlovich and his matchups against Ngannou, why is he not shooting for a takedown against these guys that he is going to out-grapple? It's a bit of a fight IQ problem with Curtis Blaydes at times. I think he thinks his striking is actually better than what it actually is, and he stays too long on the feet with these big one-punch knockout artists. Kuniev isn't that, though. I think Curtis Blaydes' striking, I'm going to say, is better than Kuniev's in my opinion. He's more proven than what Kuniev is. He's been at this level for a very, very long time. Curtis Blaydes is very underrated in my opinion in the heavyweight division, and I think he beats Kuniev either late round stoppage due to ground and pound, or I'm going to say he beats him by decision. Either way though, Curtis Blaydes is winning this matchup. Moving on, Joshua Van versus Ray Tsuruya. I can't say that guy's name, so shut it in the comments. Look, this is a prospect in my latest video, not yesterday, the day before, when I looked closer into certain categories for UFC 313. Make sure you go check that video out. This is a guy that I think a lot of people need to pay attention to. Obviously, won his UFC debut. He is 10-0, but he is going in there against Joshua Van. Now, this is kind of a short notice fight for both guys. Joshua Van is obviously very active, very proven in the flyweight division. I think these guys are the future of the division. They are both very, very young. Tsuruya can mix it up well. The guy has got good grappling. I want to pick him to win purely from the fact of I said he's a prospect to watch. I really do think he is going to come good, but I do just have to go with Joshua Van. He's more proven, but Tsuruya is definitely one to watch. Don't be surprised if this guy does get the job done here. Moving on, Bruno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. I don't know how Bruno Ferreira is an underdog. He is my pick. I think he's going to knock out Armen Petrosyan. Armen Petrosyan's on a 2-fight finish lose streak, obviously coming off that brutal KO to Shara Magomedov at UFC Abu Dhabi, I think it was. Bruno Ferreira also is coming off a finish loss to Abbas Magomedov. Bruno Ferreira could have finished him in that fight. I don't know why this guy's got this sick obsession with spinning moves. Yes, you got a nice finish with it before. Stop fucking doing it. Armen Petrosyan, I think and this sounds really stupid, so bear with me. I think he's going to be winning this fight until he's not. What I mean by that is, I think he's going to do a good job of keeping Bruno Ferreira at range, even though Ferreira does have the reach advantage. But I think Armin Petrosyan is going to do a good job at just tapping at the leg kicks, and then I just see Bruno Ferreira being able to catch him coming in. I think he might blitz in, catch Armin Petrosyan. I think he stops Petrosyan in the very first round. The odds are very, very good on Bruno Ferreira. That is my underdog pick for the card. Moving on, Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. Look, I love to pick Alex Morono, but Carlos Leal's coming off that controversial loss to Rekretinov. Fuck, I can't remember his name. I've just went blank. You know who I'm on about anyway. Renat Rekretinov, that's his name. Carlos Leal is coming off that. Yeah, he's going to stop Alex Morono. Moving on, we've got Santos versus Marshall. I'm going for Santos in this matchup. We've got another Santos, what the hell, versus Ozzy Diaz. I'd love to pick Ozzy Diaz, but I'm not. I've got Jordan Santos. I've got him getting this job done here. I think this might be his UFC debut. I remember him being on the Contender Series. Yeah, I don't know why I've clicked into that. Yeah, I remember him being on the Contender Series. And finally, I don't know what happened to my computer there. Finally, Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. I'm going for Chris Gutierrez to win that matchup by decision. Look, I think these are some solid picks on my behalf. I am doing a watch along for this event, so make sure you do tune in for that. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Thanks again for all the support, and I will see you again in the next one. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I don't know if I already said that. See you in the next one.